I can still do it. No. Hey, what's going on? Oh man, don't turn the channel just yet, or turn off your friggin' podcast player. This is still the Seacoast Beverage Lab podcast. If there's one or five hosts, so stick around. This is Brian from Seacoast Beverage Lab, and this is the Seacoast Beverage Lab podcast for Wednesday, the 5th of November, 2014, episode number 96. That's right. That means we are 3 episodes away before doing the 100th episode, so we're 4 episodes away from 100, and we're getting there quick. And we might do it by Christmas if we can still keep this ship afloat. I am drinking the Grist Mill Saison by Austin Street Brewery. Check out that nice simple label, little grist mill on the side here. It's coming at 5.6%. It's a Saison from a brewery out in Portland. I believe they have the old Rising Tide facility, for those that are familiar with the area. And it's very good. It's nice and dry. Enjoying it. It's a shout out to Portland Beer Week, which we'll talk about in a second. Normie, it's just you and me tonight. What do you got?
Not much. How you doing, Brian? I'm Norman Miller, Metro West Daily News, the Beer Nut, Real Beer Nut on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. I'm drinking a Wormtown Brewery Norm tonight.
Oh, the fresh batch.
Just bottled last week. Picked up at the brewery on Saturday.
So awesome. So how's it tasting? I mean, if you can say so yourself.
Well, it really tastes like a piece of Norm.
If you really want to lick Norm, there it is.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's tons of coconut, tons of chocolate. It's a good, smooth oatmeal stout with a lot of good flavor. I mean, it's a liquid Mounds bar. It's an alcoholic Mounds bar.
So, geez, might as well get into that. I mean, what Saturday? You weren't on the show last week, so we tried to hype it up for you. But Saturday was the big event. How did it go? What was the how did it go down?
Good. Wormtown Brewery in Worcester. They're moving at the beginning. They hope by the end of the year, beginning of the new year. So they wanted to have basically one big event before they moved out of their old location at Peppercorns. So this year's batch of Norm was getting released, and because of the move, they can only do one batch compared to two last year. So instead of just selling all the distributors short that are begging for the beer, they decided we're going to have just one release day. So they had a Norm release day on Saturday. So they did a whole day. Bottle sale started at 9. They had me in to do signing. I signed books. They had a whole coconut brunch. It had, like a coconut pork, fajita, coconut pancakes with Maui maple syrup. A local bakery brought in like complimentary desserts. So there was like this coconut bread pudding that was amazing, coconut cupcakes. They also, like I said, they had Norm. They had Norm T-shirts that are selling. The Norm glasses, if you can see this, got Norm.
Look at that. That's so cool.
Yeah. And then they they even brought in like special guest coconut beers, so you can get like a flight of coconut beers.
Yep.
So they had the one keg of Norm on tap, and they also specially ordered some Maui coconut porter from Hawaii, coconut framing hammer from Jack's Abbey, and coconut curry beer from Ballast Point called Idra Kadidra, I think it's pronounced. So it was a good day. Tons of people came out. They sold a lot of beer. The remaining beer will go to the distributors. Sold out of books. They sold tons of T-shirts, tons of glasses. So I think they had a good day and a good goodbye event from their old brewery to moving to their new space in a month or two.
That's awesome. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it was a great day. They also had the other beers on tap, so it was always good. I mean, I couldn't go a day without grabbing a Bee Hoppy on tap, and Bee Hoppy is just such a good beer.
Oh, hell yeah. Wait, did you say how far from its original location it is?
What? It's about 2 miles away, but it's going to be, I think the space itself is like 10 or 11 times the size. And then their capacity now is about 1,500 barrels. When they open a new brewery, I think they're opening at 6,000 with the ability to grow to 30,000 barrels in the space they're going to be at.
Sweet.
So they're going to open, even right away, there'll be 4 times as much space to be able to brew. And they'll have a tap room there. They're going to have like a merchandise store, a brewery merchandise store. So they have a lot of big plans, and they're just, getting all the stuff ready. As most people know with starting breweries, when you hear they're going to start in June or July, it's going to be possibly closer to June or July the following year. No breweries open right on time, so.
And he's Ben's one of the guys we've been trying to get on the show, but he's one of the very few people that don't have access to webcams, iPads, things like that. So we will
Yeah.
soon, maybe we'll go down there and do a
He has
live.
like an iPhone 4 or something like that. At least that's what it looked like from a distance.
We can
So
we should do it live there, maybe sometime.
when they open their brewery, go there and do it live at the brewery. Yeah, and
Maybe,
it's
maybe I will.
yeah, let's do it.
Maybe I will. You can stay home.
That's good. No, but it was a good day. I mean, they seemed to sell a lot of beer, and like I said, I think they had a good time, and it was good. 9:15, I had my first beer poured for me at 9:16 in the morning.
Oh man, good day.
Yeah, like, hey, you want to open Norm? And that's who's gonna say no to that?
No way. Well, a
I,
lot of.
and for the record, I always tell people this. I just want people to make sure to know I have nothing to do with brewing the beer. All I did was pester Ben repeatedly. He just happened to be, unfortunately, the brewer I saw most often. Because I mean, I've been telling brewers since 2006 that the best beer they could ever brew was a coconut chocolate stout, and I always said it jokingly, but Ben happened to hear it every week for about 2 years until he finally swore at me and said he'd do it.
Man,
So, and I get no profit from it, even though I do get to drink the beer, so that's good.
that's good. I mean, and you said it was they did one keg and then the rest was bottles, but they're already sold out from what at least the
They're not
report.
sold out, but they're going. I think they might be sold out at the brewery. I think they're selling the bottle. They brought the rest of the bottles to distributors, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Word on the street is for those that are in the know of the area, and this is specific to New England, but Julio's is sold out of that. I don't even know if they got it, but
They probably haven't got it yet.
right. It's been so it's got to go to distributors first.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do some self distribution, but that's mainly kegs.
Okay.
So they don't like self distribute any of their bottles. So that has to go from whenever their pickup date from the distributor at the Wormtown and all the way out to the distributors. But Julio's will probably get it. The craft beer sellers, at least a couple of them, will probably get it.
Yep.
Austin Liquors and Worcester, because they're a big supporter. But I mean, I don't think you'll see it at the smaller stores. Like I said, it's one batch compared to last year when they had two full batches and they sold about half of it on Saturday.
That's good stuff right there. Yeah, I sad to say I didn't make it, but from the tweets I saw from Brandon and you, it was a freaking good time. And I tried sending Ben down to Ben Watts, who subbed for you last week. I sent him down to Peppercorns today, and they were bone dry on Norm. So
Yeah.
till next year.
Yes.
But no, yeah, it's let's see if he comes back. But
I'm back.
oh, he's back. Sorry. So the question, I don't know if you heard
It
it.
froze on my screen. So what was the question?
Oh no, the question was comparison from last year's beer to this year's. Anything new that you can taste yet, or are you still trying to like wait on the decision?
No, I mean it's the same recipe. It tastes the same to me.
Okay.
I don't know how it's aged. I know a lot of people aged it. I don't know how it aged, so I don't know if you've had it fresh compared to having a few months old. Mine never lasted more than a week after buying them.
Okay.
So I don't know how it ages as well, but the coconut still comes through. The chocolate really comes through, and it's a treat. Big
Sweet.
coconut.
So that's, I mean,
This sweet too.
I mean, if you get your hands on a bottle of it, I'm sure it'll be a hot trade item for sure on the Beer Advocates because it's a fantastic beer. Wait for it. Okay, cool. Now that we're cleared out of that, yeah, I was. We're still in the middle of it. The last was it Friday was the start of Portland Beer Week, and as most beer weeks go, at least in this neck of the woods, it's not just a week; it's like 10 days. It gets both weekends in there. But I went up Sunday to actually what did I do? So back it up. Friday I went to Stoneface Brewery. Stoneface was releasing their double IPA called Hopstitution. No, that sounds too familiar.
That's Jack's Abbey.
Yeah, yep, I knew it. It's something. I'll check it in a little bit. But yeah, they released a double IPA, and I went there. I took my lunch break to go there. Went there at 1:00, and there was a line out the door, which was like, what the hell? So I figured people had the same idea as me, like, oh, no one's gonna be going on their work day. Let's go wait in line for a beer. And sure enough, it was like 30 people deep. But yeah, it was crazy. They were passing out samples. It was very good. And then Saturday, whole lot of nothing because it was raining and crappy. And then Sunday, we went up. My wife and I went up to the coffee place, and I wish. Hold on a second. It was called Coffee by Design in Portland, Maine. They're big center, so they have a bunch of different smaller stores, but they're a big place where they roast all the coffee and train the employees. Had one of the kickoff events to Portland Beer Week, and that was the beer school, which was so badass. It was, I think there was like 100 people there. The concept behind the beer school was they brought every brewery that opened up in Maine in 2014, some from late 2013, but they had 12 brewers, which they called their freshman class, and this was the freshman orientation. So they split the group up of like 100 and so to 12 groups, and then just like speed dating or whatever, speed. I was just speed dating, whatever. You go to, it's just set up like a brew fest basically, but all over the store. So some are in a different room in the other room. Some are like right next to each other. But for 10 minutes, you stand in front of the brewer as him or her tell you about the brewery and give you beers, and then the class bell rings 10 minutes later, and you move into the next one. So that went on for 2 hours. It was I thought it would go by fast, but it was just the right amount of time. You think 10 minutes, you wouldn't have enough time, but each brewery had 2 beers, and they give you a little sample of each, and you get a nice little conversation. So breweries from like Nice, Tributary was there, Some Brewery. So Tributary and Some are the southernmost brewers in Maine. Van and Horn. I mean, a lot of even a couple of like Van and Horn we had on the show, Tributary we had on the show, Chris Lively and Mike Sherry we had on the show. It's pretty cool.
Todd Mott.
Yep, Todd Mott for sure. But yeah, no, it was very cool. It's like a nice way to introduce. You can go to Portland and see the 1,000 taps, and you're like,
yeah,
I don't really know anything about this brewery. I don't know where Limerick, Maine is, so I'm not going to try it. But then you.
Oh no, it sounded like a great event. I saw Carla was posting tons of photos on Instagram, and I was watching. I was like, that's a really cool event, and
yeah.
Except for it almost made up for the fact it was 35 degrees and pouring out that day. Jesus,
we drove up and it wasn't snowing yet, but we hit 95 and it just sucked. But I think I wish Beer Fest would go like this, because sure there was like the heavy hitters like Bissell there where people wanted to go, and Tributary was there, but they didn't have to. They could have broke the stride, but you were at this brewery for 10 minutes and then you move on. So it was very, very well organized. You got a chance to try everything. It wasn't like a free-for-all. But after that, I mean, big props, big ups to the Maine Brewers Guild, because that was put on by them. And they also they announced their big course outline for the year, where I think once a month they're going to have a different beer school class at a different location in Maine. All put on by the brewers, but sponsored and started by the Maine Brewers Guild, and they really have something going there. Even though I was representing New Hampshire, I did feel kind of like I don't think New Hampshire could pull something like this off. I mean, it just the brewers are so behind the guild, and just the feeling of like camaraderie and doing events. I haven't seen something like that before in a while. I don't know about what it's like down there in Mass, but Maine seems to be like a brotherhood.
Yeah, well, Massachusetts has the huge Massachusetts Brewers Fest put on by the Guild.
True.
Every late August, early September, they're more of like a legislative thing. They do a lot of legislative stuff more than like event type stuff. They do some events. They put together the Massachusetts beer map where you can like passport. You can go to all the breweries and things like that and get like stamps. If you collect every stamp, you get prizes. But they do a lot of legislative. It's almost like I'm drawing a blank on the word, but
yeah, like not a nonprofit, but like
a lobbyist almost.
Yeah.
The craft brewers in Massachusetts in the State House. So yeah, they do a good job too. But yeah, it sounds like this is more about beer events and educating people more than Massachusetts is more about for the laws and everything like that.
Yeah, I think that's the same as it is in New Hampshire too. It's almost a little bit more confusing in New Hampshire, where they have the Brewers Guild, which is just for a brewer association, which is just for legislation, Then they have a group called NH Beer, which is supposed to be in conjunction with the Travel and Tourism Board.
Mhm.
So they're supposed to do events, but people might get confused when they see Maine Brewers Guild doing events, but not hearing anything about New Hampshire. So I think once New Hampshire gets their act together with both of those groups, I think it might turn out good. But I think Maine just freaking hit a home run. It was so cool. But right after that, walked right across the street to Rising Tide, where they had the release of Polaris, and badass, great. I mean, you've had the beer, right?
Yeah, and the brewery is fantastic too. So
Yeah, and it was cool because it was like one of those events where they needed their coffee shop back by 2 o'clock. So at 2 o'clock the event stopped. Everyone that was there, brewers and people, went right over to Rising Tide, and it was just so cool. Like, and here's Nathan Sanborn, friend of the show. Come on now, just just chatting and talking to all these brewers that were there. From Foundation and Austin Street was there. All the freshmen. And then we saw, Sean was there, Carla was there, obviously. So there's a picture that's floating around the Twitter sphere about the three of the podcast people there. But it was good. The beer's really good. I bought two, one to put downstairs and one to drink immediately. So
yep.
That's what you got to do. But I guess it's going to be New Hampshire. Is it going to go to Mass? I think it's going to Mass, isn't it?
It might be. No, I think Portland has going for it more than like a lot of other New England beer cities, except maybe Burlington.
What do you got?
Like Massachusetts has total breweries in Maine, but they're more spread out throughout the state. You don't have anywhere that's concentrated like Portland. We have like Allagash and Foundation and all whatever, or not Foundation, maybe Tide, all these small breweries that are in one city that compared to other places like Boston. Yeah, Boston area, but the city of Boston only has 3 breweries. Then you have Cambridge has one, and you have Everett has one, and Chelsea and Somerville, but there's nothing like so concentrated like it is in Portland. Same thing in Maine. Portland, the closest you have is Portsmouth Brewery and Earth Eagle.
Right.
Vermont's Burlington's probably the closest to being like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, we have it here in Portsmouth, but it's kind of like Portsmouth has a couple, or Portsmouth area, Seacoast has a couple, but Portland's got a couple with that Nook that has Austin Street, Foundation, and Bissell where Maine Beer Company, Rising Tide, and Bulljagger were, which is right across the street from Allagash. So it's like it's an incubator, that little spot.
Yep.
But yeah. Other than that, I mean, and Carla's out there now. So if you're watching her tweets at Beer Babe, she's at, I think she was going to 5 different places tonight. So good luck to her and her liver. But man, I mean, it's a great event. There's always a lot going on, and the brewers are so behind it. So it gives hope. Because it introduces beer in so many different ways. Like I think last night there was a story time. We go watch brewers tell stories. It's like this is like not just go have a beer. It's like have a beer and then just do something weird with a brewer. I don't know. So, but if you were lucky enough to do the Stoneface and then Norm and then Polaris, that was 3 heavy-hitting releases in one weekend. It's badass.
That's cool.
But yeah, I think PortlandBeerWeek.org is the way to pay, the play that pays. As we take a train break here. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got on that. We got those, and I was thinking about, there she is. I was thinking about canceling the show just because we had a low attendance, but I wanted to talk to Norm. We haven't talked to him in a bit, of course. But oh boy, never mind. We're shutting it down. No. But as I was tweeting that it's just going to be us two, I saw this news article come in, and I'll send you what I'm looking at, Norm, if you don't have it up. But it's I don't know when we talked. This was a couple of years ago. We might have. I think we've done the show was going on when the first thing happened, the first acquisition. Yeah. So a while back, Anheuser-Busch acquired financially Goose Island, and it then turned into them brewing one of their more mass-produced beers. Is that what happened behind that?
They own it all completely, so they brew.
Oh, okay. Wait, so they brew even their special ones.
Yeah, but I mean they still use the Goose Island facilities and the barrel, but they own it 100%. Okay. They also the forgotten purchase. They also bought Blue Point out of New York.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. I don't know why that slipped my mind.
No,
Yeah,
because Goose Island has the reputation of Bourbon County brand stout and all these other beers, and then
yep,
you don't hear much about Blue Point. I mean, the only beer I ever see locally from them is Toasted Lager, which is a decent beer, but it's not Bourbon County brand stout. It's not one of the big breweries. That was like one of the hardest to find beers, so it just doesn't have the reputation.
yeah. Well, and then now, so I open up the tweeter, and boom, we got 10 Barrel Brewing, which many people might not know, just because I mean, that are complete beer geeks, just because they're a small brewery. I mean, what are they, 40,000 barrels? But that's, I mean, it's still pretty big in a sense. But they're 8 years old. They're from Bend, Colorado. But
Oregon.
well, yeah, I meant to say Bend, Oregon. I don't know why I said Colorado.
They also have a brew pubs in a brew pub in Idaho,
Yeah,
and I believe they plan on opening another one in Portland. So that's why.
yep, yeah. So they're for those who haven't heard about 10 Barrel, they're actually one of the most popular breweries when it comes to the GABF. I don't know, didn't they win Small Brewery of the Year?
They
Uh,
won 3 medals. Hold on, I'll tell you exactly what they won. They won. Maybe I won't tell you exactly what they won. There's a lot of categories, but
yeah,
they
I mean,
won
but
three
still,
medals at uh, the GABF this year.
yeah,
Hold on one second, I can tell you.
yeah, no problem. And I mean, if you
They
search
got the
10,
bronze in American style stout.
yeah,
Bronze for the American style wheat ale for Amber Waves, and gold in the field beer category with gold cucumber crush.
whoa, okay, that sounds all right.
Yeah, so they got 2 bronze and a gold this year.
Nice. Yeah, and they're pretty popular. The beer's damn good. I got it in a trade once, and I got some family out in that area. But the beer's good. They were just recently put a video up on Vimeo with their big news that they were bought by Anheuser-Busch. And according to the article that I'm reading, the news could be coming out as we talk about it 'cause it's so fresh. The terms of the sale weren't disclosed, but the deal includes the company's brew pubs in, like Norm said, Bend and Boise, Idaho, and their one in Portland, which is opening in 2015 or is expected to open. Founded by I think brothers, maybe Jeremy and Chris Cox and Garrett Wales. But yeah, 8 years old, 3 medals of the 2014 Beer Fest, and oh yeah, and then like we said, it's not just they have a significant stake in the CBA, the Craft Brew Alliance, which the parent company is Widmer, but that also is Red Hook and Goose Island, but they own, oh, and Kona Brewing.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's and obviously if you look at comments, I'm sure in the Beer Advocate they're probably ripping them apart, and
Oh, it's
in
all over.
this article, of course, the second one down is good riddance, which is like, what the fuck.
Yeah, it was all over Twitter today. And how I look, I don't get me wrong, I love the craft beer world. I love the craft beer community. I love the passion the fans and the brewers have. But it's still a business, and people forget about that sometimes because of how cool the brewers are. We talk to the brewers on this show tons of time. Both of us have met tons of brewers or talked to tons of brewers. They're great people and everything like that, but they're still business people. They have to keep the brewery going, and none of us know what was going on in the people with 10 Barrel. You don't know if the brewery is struggling. You don't know if the brewery is super successful. You don't know if the owners need more money for a particular reason or anything. There's tons of different reasons, or maybe they're looking at this as an opportunity. We love our beer. We want more people to try our beer. We hook up with Anheuser-Busch. People in Florida might be able to try our beer in a couple of years, or people in New York, or people in Maine that might not have been able to get it. How I look at these purchases, yeah, if in the perfect world, I would love every single brewery to stay independent forever. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Anheuser-Busch is a huge company. You're going to run into breweries for whatever reason are willing to sell, and I haven't detected a change in Goose Island since they started. I think I just had a Bourbon County Stout recently.
Yeah.
Good as I remember before Anheuser-Busch took it over. I still love the Belgian stuff, the Matilda and Sophie and Pierre Jacques, I think you pronounce it.
Yeah.
They're still good beers. And if Anheuser-Busch are buying these breweries because they want to make inroads in the craft beer world, fine. That's smart. They're smart business people. That's why they're such a big company. And if they're smart about it, which they probably will be, they're going to leave these breweries pretty much alone. Kona, I don't know how. I never had Kona before, but before Anheuser-Busch bought it. I think that they're probably the biggest thing they did was when they started brewing in Portsmouth to save money so they could do it cross country.
Yeah.
Red Hook brews good beers. They can brew the Kona beers, and Kona. I think what it is, people like to be me against them, and they look at Anheuser-Busch as this giant brewery that's killing everything. And I really think you have to look at Anheuser-Busch as more of a global company. I mean, they're really one of the largest companies in the world, let alone beer, and they acquire smaller businesses sometimes. They're not going to take over the craft beer world. They're not going to buy a brewery like Stone. Jim Cook's not going to sell out to them. Sam Calagione. Sure, you're going to have some of the smaller breweries, or you might have Goose Island let the owner just wanted to get out of the business. You know, at some point he just wanted to leave, and they took advantage of it.
I mean, I have many questions from more like a business standpoint.
Yeah.
One of which was, if they end up brewing, so they brew Goose Island in their facility, some of their beers, right?
I think so, yeah.
And so my question is, if the trend keeps going and they keep buying these breweries and potentially making their biggest beer in their facility, isn't that going to have an impact on? I'm sure they won't let it happen, but wouldn't that have an impact on their own brand if they're spending more time brewing these other beers?
Well, they just have so much capacity.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I hate Bud Light. I hate most, the Bud line of products. But it takes skill to brew something like that tastes exactly the same at several different breweries.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I remember I interviewed who was technically the brewmaster years ago, and he was describing the process they go through tasting the beer. Their quality control process is above and beyond and whatever you want. You can argue that the beer they make is something you never want to drink.
Yeah.
You can argue that it's not a marvel that they can make every single beer, that amount of it, in several different breweries around the country and probably other countries of the European market taste exactly the same on a daily basis, because their brew days every single day is not, oh, we're having a brew day today. No, they have several brew days every single day at several different breweries. So if they're smart, they'll keep the beers like they are, because that's what the point is. They want to make inroads in a craft beer world. They're going to do that. They have to keep the beers how they were before, or people are going to know the difference.
And that's a fantastic point. And I mean, I wonder where in line 10 Barrel was, because for as new and fascinating a brewery like that is, I can't imagine they were first on AB's list, to acquire. But obviously, I have no idea what their game plan is.
The one thing I don't know how it's going to work. From what I've read, I've never been to Bend. But yep. Oregon is such an advanced beer city compared to a lot of places in the country. Like, Oregon has tons of breweries in there, so loved by the locals, even before this whole local, beat local, eat local type thing. They've been like that for years. I wonder how it's going to look at the local market when you have so many other breweries.
Sure.
Are people who are the local fans going to say, look, I love your beers, but I can get another brewery that's 5 minutes away that has just as good a beer and is still independent. I wonder if they're going to have to they're going to make up, expanding to other parts of the country, because they're going to lose that local fan base. But I'm guessing their business people are probably smarter than us, so they probably so.
Yeah, speak for yourself. No, I mean, it's true. And there's so many breweries in that town. In that area. I have no clue, but it could be a good strategic move to get someone that's so, I say small, but 40,000 is nothing to shake a stick at. But just kind of still, good unknown-ish brewery out this way, where Goose Island is known all over the place. But I think it's probably a strategic move to get kind of a bigger and then a little smaller, than kind of like fill it in. I don't know.
And they probably just want to try different markets too.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true. Good call. Yeah.
Whitmer's been associated with them for so long. Get another newer brewery, Goose Island, Blue Point, and hey, maybe they'll go down south and try to connect with some of the breweries down there. And again, like I said, in the perfect world, I'd wish every single brewery would remain independent for the whole existence, and when the owner decided that he didn't want it anymore and no one else wanted to take it over, or make sure to sell it to the small, but it's just not realistic. It's a business, and people have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, and it's true. I mean, and I see it all the time in New Hampshire. I mean, not just from an acquisition standpoint, but it's more like where beer turns into business. Sure, as I was, ranting and raving about, the Maine being such a brotherhood. It's the same in New Hampshire. All the brewers are fine with each other. But when I talk to some brewers, they're like, I hope they come back and have our beer more than once. Like, it's at the end of the day, they're not gonna stay afloat by hugs and kisses. They need the money.
It's the same thing. That's one of the things that always bothers me about trademark disputes in the brewery world. 95% of the time, the brewery that's getting the cease and desist letter are in the wrong.
Yeah.
But they also usually the smaller brewery. Usually, a lot of times, they might have the better beer, and people automatically side on these people. It's a business. You can't just let your trademark go. And if you let that go, you lose your trademark. So when Magic Hat and the whole, let alone, I don't know who was in the right for that one, but I'm just using the Magic Hat one with the brewery that had the upside down, like the 6 that looked like the upside down Magic Hat number 9.
Right.
I don't know who was in the right with that one. But there's several other ones that were obviously 6 Point had a dispute with someone, things like that. You have to protect your trademark, and it's business. You want to have community, but you still have to have business.
Yep.
And you probably learned this from doing your New Hampshire history book. When I was talking to everyone for the Boston Beer history book, there was a lot more breweries than there are in Boston now. Sam Adams and Harpoon, but you had Tremont, you had all these other brew pubs that didn't succeed. Look at the ones that succeeded. You had Jim Cook, MBA from Harvard. Two of the 3 from Harpoon had MBAs from Harvard, and the other one had an MBA, I think, from the University of Chicago.
Yeah.
Beerworks. One of the brothers was a straight brewer. The other one, MBA. You have to have some type of business sense. Even Trillium. I don't know if you saw Gary Zen's article in the Boston Globe today where he writes about Trillium. He calls them the best brewery in the state. They do fantastic beers, and I wouldn't argue that they might be the best brewery in Massachusetts. I wouldn't even argue if you consider them one of the best breweries in New England.
Yeah.
But the wife, Esther, is a business genius. You hear her talk to her. She knows what business. She runs her own business. You have to have both. Treehouse. One of the 3 owners of Treehouse does not drink. He's a business guy.
Yeah, that's smart.
You have both to succeed because it's $1 billion industry now. It's not like it was in the late 70s, early 80s where it was a bunch of rebels going against a big conglomerate. It's $1 billion plus industry now.
Jeez, I mean, and I'm like you said, I'm sure there's plenty that are still probably being talked about by AB that at least they're trying to get, quote unquote. But yeah, at the end of the day, all biz. And
there's tons of breweries that would say no. I mean, there's always been rumors that they tried to buy Lagunitas, and Tony McGee said no.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing if Stone put themselves on the market, Anheuser-Busch would be the first ones there to try to buy it, and I'm guessing Stone, Greg Cook, and Steve Wagner would be to say no. And that's excellent. I mean, I'm glad they can do that, but not all breweries are in that type of position.
I mean, we got train break number 2 coming in here. That's an odd time where we have 2 in this podcast.
I know. I'm trying to remember if that ever happened before.
Yeah, I have no idea. So that must be a sign. 2 hosts, 2 trains. But it's a slow night here in New Hampshire. No, we got Craig Henry in the chat of Rager Pines out of Mississippi, and he says, as I say the same thing. I guess we'll wait and see because you don't really know. He says if they start brewing 10-barrel beers in Boulder and St. Louis too quickly, who knows? That could be a little weird.
Yeah. Well, how I look at it, unfortunately, I'll never be able to judge pre and post. I never had pre. Anheuser-Busch own 10 barrels, so I won't be.
I had one, yeah.
But I actually think there might be could be a trademark dispute brewing in Massachusetts pretty soon.
Oh, what do you got? Oh, nice one. Good pun, first of all.
I know.
Oh, God.
No, I was talking the Schober Valley Winery. They've dabbled with beer over the years. They had Ben Roach from Wormtown brewed there. DeMoss Olson, who was foolproof, brewed there. So they've had tons of people. Well, they've actually invested in their breweries, doubled the space, everything. Unfortunately, they're calling it Bolton Beer Works, and Beer Works is trademarked by Boston Beer Works.
Ah, oh, come on.
I actually talked to the owner a little today. I don't think they're happy about that. So you'll probably be seeing that in the coming days, something about that. But
yeah, and I'm sure the logo might not be the same, but it just the name does sound like you're going to be getting a Boston Beer Works brand.
Well, because Boston Beer Works is trademarked as Beer Works, and they put Boston Beer Works, Framingham Beer Works, Lowell Beer Works, Salem Beer Works.
Yep.
So I'm looking. I'm actually going to have an open house at the Bolton Beer Works at the Neshoba Winery on Saturday, so I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
I don't think that name's going to last, unfortunately.
I mean, sure. I'm sure their argument might be, well, there's places called blah blah brew pub and brewery, brewing co. But I don't know if Beer Works is just enough to make it. It's anyone can have it. Beer Works sounds pretty.
They have it trademarked.
Yeah. Boom.
On the label. So.
Yeah. So see in court.
I think they're probably licensed as Neshoba Winery anyways.
Yeah.
Not that huge a deal, but yeah, I think that's going to be the next one you hear about, probably on Beer Advocate or something like that. Or
Secrets Beverage Lab podcast. Come on.
Well, that's why I broke it today.
Oh, broken. Yeah. So hey, nerds, start talking.
Nerds here first.
Nerds, start talking about it now. But yeah, there was not really much else in the way of news that's been going on. We're kind of in the just like anywhere else. I mean, we're kind of in the slow season when it comes to news, except for Beer Weeks that goes on. There really isn't a rhyme or reason to the news in the beer world, but it just seems like nada. Let's see. This past week, I mean, Earth Eagle here in town is touring through beers. Like I said, Stone Faith's had a new one. But yeah, Nearax is coming up in a couple weeks, which should be pretty badass. Which is the All Cask Festival, Real Ale Festival in Boston.
I love that one. I try to go to it when I can.
I might go. I might go because they're for $35 on nhbeerbus.com. They pick you up in Portsmouth, drive you down to the festival, and then you come on back. So and you get to go to the festival. They don't just drive you and say, haha, turn around. But no, so that's a pretty good deal. It's November 15th, or 14th, 15th. So yeah, it should be cool. I love that.
There's a couple cool events coming up this weekend down.
What do you got?
Great International Beer Fest is happening down in Providence.
Oh, nice.
That'll be Saturday. I'm one of the judges of the competition on Friday. Then winners are announced Saturday, so I'll be there Friday drinking all day.
So to be a judge for that, do you apply for a style, or they just say, here's the style on the day of?
Like RSVP as a judge, find out when I go there, find out what style and how many styles. I don't know how many judges. It's basically, from what I understand, it's depending how many beers you judge, is depending how many judges they have.
Okay, yeah.
But I know I'm wrong. Chris Shea's going to be a judge.
Oh yeah, okay, he knows his stuff.
Henniker, so there's brewers, there's beer writers, there's people in the beer industry.
Nice.
There's a whole mix of people. Julio's Liquors is having their Massachusetts Brew Fest on Sunday.
Ooh, nice.
So 1 to 4 p.m. Nothing but Massachusetts breweries. Free to get in. Free samples of food from Peppercorns.
Nice.
I'll be signing books.
I was gonna say you better be signing books.
Nice. It's funny. I actually went to Julio's Liquors. Not Julio's. Jack's Abbey the other day. They have a lot of cool beers planned. They just released. They've done a series. Remember they had the Berliner Lager that came out earlier this year?
Yes.
They threw a bunch of it in bourbon barrels.
Oh, man.
So every week they have a different version coming out. They had the plum Berliner Lager. That was aged in bourbon barrels. Cherry, cranberry, and I believe this week, I didn't get a chance to stop there today, is the Berliner Punch, which is a blend of all 3 different barrel-aged fruit Berliners. So I might be stopping there tomorrow to buy a growler on the way home from work.
It's like that can't be bad. That's crazy.
Yeah. They also have a new triple coming out. It's not a Belgian triple.
Yeah.
It's a triple IPL.
Okay.
Triple India Pale Lager. So they have 2 double IPLs, Kiwis Rising, and Mass Rising. This is a triple one.
That's good stuff right there.
They also have an Imperial Baltic Porter coming out.
Imperial
So their
what?
normal Baltic Porters,
Imperial what?
Baltic Porter.
Oh, nice.
So their normal Baltic Porters are a 10% alcohol.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, here we go.
This is 15%. I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's called Widowmaker.
For sure.
So they have Baby Maker, they have Wife Maker, and now I think this is Widowmaker. If I remember,
That's awesome.
if it's not Widowmaker, there's another beer coming out called Widowmaker. But
Sweet.
yeah, they've been doing a lot of good stuff. Another brewery just opened in Massachusetts last 2 weeks ago. Aeronaut Brewing Company, not Aeronaut, Three Cross Brewing Company opened in Worcester.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're a really small brewery. They half barrel brewing system.
Wow.
So he brews 4 batches a week. He has 4 beers on tap at all times. He only opens 1 day a week, Saturday afternoons for pints and growler fills. And at least 1 beer a week is going to be a dedicated Brett beer. So every week there'll be a different Brett beer as well, different types of beer each week.
Man, that's cool for Worcester to now have 2.
Huh?
That's cool for Worcester to now have 2 breweries.
2 breweries. This one's going to be a tap room. I don't know if you saw we had Keith Antel from Medusa Brewing Company on a few weeks ago.
Yep.
They started a Kickstarter on Saturday to get the last money to get them over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
And since Saturday till today, they already raised about half of the amount of money they needed. They're trying to raise $15,000. I think they reached $7,500 already in less than a week.
Very cool. All right, so I'll put the link up there too. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. If you like you get different rewards.
Yeah.
The top reward, if you donate $2,500, I won't be doing that. If you did, you get to spend a day brewing a beer at Medusa, and then you come back for a private release party with you and 50 of your friends, fully catered for the.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you go there. Brian brews the New Hampshire Beer Book Pale Ale, and 4 weeks later, him and his 50 friends he pays to come will come for a free food and have a great day.
I mean, if each of us did what, $500? I mean, I can figure out, we can figure out some weird ways to get $500. All right, come like have it's a tickle booth.
Advertise my services.
Yeah, yeah, we're it's illegal to advertise services online, so we can't do that. But if you want to tickle his beard, $50. But
do if you ever read a story where the husband sells his hair, or the wife sells her hair to buy her husband a gift, and the husband sells his whatever to get homes for her hair.
Oh yeah,
I'll sell him a beard for $500 on my part.
I mean, you're at the point now where it's fully encompassing. You can't even see your ears. Like, it's all hair. It's awesome. It's gorgeous.
Look at this.
I mean, I'm jealous as hell because there's nothing. I mean, I got nothing up there. It's crazy. But Craig in the chat.
I can tie my bangs and my beard together now.
I have one bang. But yeah, welcome to Guy Talk. Welcome to Girl Talk with Norm and.
So just on the side, I actually just interviewed Todd Mott this week.
Oh, no kidding. For what?
I'm doing a profile on Todd Mott, like a profile for All About Beer.
Nice.
So I interviewed Todd Mott, Rich Doyle, a couple other people. So.
Man, and for what issue? Next month?
That I'm not sure yet.
Cool. Keep an eye out.
So I'm hoping to write it this weekend. So.
Sweet. Well, you're writing that. I'll be Midwest swinging out in Indiana. I'll bring you back some Three Floyds if you got a bottle of Norm for me.
And Sun King too.
Yes, we're driving by that. Yes, we are. So yeah, we're
good things from our beer buddy Tamara Mullins about Sun King. So.
Yeah, so I'll hopefully swing in there. But yeah, I'm hoping to. I mean, it doesn't even matter if you don't stop at Three Floyds. The grocery stores and the Whole Foods in the area have it anyway, which is so like crazy. Anyway, that's from a beer geek standpoint. But that's kind of like my weekend. Yeah. If you like video games, I stream those online now too. So you know how to find that if you know what I'm talking about. So I play a lot of video games because I'm a nerd. But I'm also balancing marriage with that, which still is successful. I'm moving in with you, Norm. I've been kicked out. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, I have room. You'll have to share the. You'll have to take up the space of the cats
It's
because
like you have room as in our room, which is your room. That's so good. Oh man, but next week I think we might have a guest, but I don't want to say it because I know Carlo's working at it, and I talked to him last weekend. We're gonna have someone soon, and Jesus, we're 4 episodes away from the big 100, so I'm gonna shave. I think so. Yes, but we're all gonna shave our heads, Carlo included, Norm, the big 100. We're gonna donate our locks for love. But anything else, Norm, before we shut her down?
one last thing. I
Yeah.
just thought this was the coolest thing that's coming out. I don't know if you saw that Stone Brewing Company is releasing a box of Bastards. It's
No.
uh, it's kind of cool. It's a 4-pack of 22-ounce bottles. You get Arrogant Bastard, Double Bastard, Lucky Bastard, which is amazing,
Love it.
and Bourbon Barrel Aged Bastard, which I've never tried.
Bourbon Barrel Bastard.
Yeah.
Triple B.
So I just happened to see the press release about it the other day, and I was like, "Holy crap! I have to pick it up." I'm pretty sure I saw on Facebook a couple local Massachusetts liquor stores got it. So I'm guessing places. I don't know if you guys get Stone in New Hampshire, so you should be
Oh
able
yeah.
to get it. And Maine, I get Stone, so I think it's going to all their markets.
I
So
mean, we got the #2 or #1 salesman of Stone Brew Jeff of New England.
Jeff Nelson.
So, geez, if he doesn't bring it up to New Hampshire, we got a serious issue. But no, yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. A 4-pack of bombers, man.
And
Um,
I mean, Arrogant Bastard was really my introduction to hoppy beers way back when.
yeah.
I remember the first time I bought it, I was at Cappy's Liquors in Fitchburg. I was going to my friend's house to watch. I was just going to hang out the weekend, and this is early on into my craft beer exploration. And I just loved it. I saw the bottle, and it's like, holy crap! I'll buy this bottle. And I remember bringing it to his house and drinking it out of the bottle and hating it with a passion. I remember I was like, what the, and I just barely could fit. It was like tasting like ashes. Like I had never had anything like that. It's not that you're not worthy of a beer yet. It's your palate's not worthy of the hops.
Yes, it
And
is.
as your first really hoppy beer, it's a slap in the face. So, but I remember, like, I still remember. It's one of those few beers I still remember the first time I had it. I had it at my friend's up in Rochester, New Hampshire, just sitting there like every single sip, hating that 22 ounces of Arrogant
I
Bastard.
like it. But yeah, it's a weird thing because it's like Lucky Bastard isn't it spelt wrong on the bottle.
On purpose, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like you're drinking, you're like, I'm not that fucked up yet. Like, what is
Yeah.
going on right now? But
That's
yeah,
a great beer too. So,
yeah, I
oh,
remember I had it for the first time like 2 or 3 Thanksgivings ago, and I'm like, this is a fantastic beer. It's just good.
blend of the Arrogant Bastard, Double Bastard, and Oak Bastard.
Oh, you bastard. But yeah.
Yeah. You ever notice all the beers that have bastards in their names really good? Founders, Backwards Bastard, and Dirty
Yep.
Bastard. Fantastic beers.
Yep.
All the Arrogant Bastards.
It's true. What else we got? Anything else? Anything with session?
Huh?
Anything with session in it? No. I don't know
Session.
other common names. Session.
I would
you-
love for someone to come up with a 3.5% version of Arrogant Bastard.
A session
Call it Baby
bastard.
Bastard.
If you can make a nice strong ale, but it was 5%, we'll call it a session bastard.
Well, the thing is, like, hops don't add alcohol. The problem is, and that's my big problem with most session IPAs, is they still want the exact hops they have with the higher alcohol IPAs.
Yep.
But you got the whole thing about balance. You need the malts to balance out. When you have
Ooh.
that many hops, it's just gonna be a tongue blaster.
But if you have Norm's nickname, if you have an unbalanced beer, that's just Stone right there. You know they don't play by the rules, so maybe they could pull.
No, but
But I know what you're saying. There's still some order.
balance.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything else going on in New Hampshire. Like I said, not same old. If you're watching live, or if you know someone that knows anything, anyone in New Hampshire, tomorrow on Thursday, myself and Ben Watts are doing our 3rd live show. Let's Talk Beer. www.letstalk.beer.11 in Somersworth, New Hampshire. 3rd train break. Can this be like a trifecta night? We might get it. Wait for it. Oh, it'll come as I talk. 11, 8 o'clock tomorrow, Thursday, November 6th, doing a live show. We got some prizes, some good comedy, and Norm's not there, but he'll make it there sometime. It's still a long-ass drive for you, but...
Especially on a Thursday night.
Yeah, we do it. It's every first Thursday. We can't change the night.
That's my big problem. I always get so upset that all beer release. There's so many beer events in Boston during the week, when I'm at work, because bars won't host beer events on weekends.
Right. But yeah, no, it's awesome. I'm doing that, and then hear that? Look at that little train break. But yeah, no. So and then I'll hop on the plane to get out of there. But yeah, you can catch Norm Saturday or Sunday.
Sunday I'll be at Julio's Liquors for their
Saturday in Rhode Island.
Beer Fest.
Jesus. So follow Norm on Real Beer Nut on Twitter, and obviously me, Seacoast Bev Lab, and Carla and Sean couldn't make it, but yeah, again, if you're following Carla at Beer Babe, she is freaking having some crazy fun. But we're having way more fun here, talking just us two. So
hey, we'll have a hangover tomorrow morning like she will.
That's so true. We'll have a huge friendship hangover though, right? All right.
Pal,
well, buddies. Oh boy. On that note, buddy, we will talk to you and cheers, and see you at episode 97 next week.
See ya.
Later.